Hello and welcome to another segment of DSU Inside Perspective. I'm Carlos Holmes, and this is the show where we talk with faculty, staff, and guests about some of the things that are going on in the world or some of the great things that are going on at Delaware State University. Today I have Mr. William Holden here with me today, who is on the Authority for Radiation Protection. It's a board, and you got to tell me what that is. What is this board?
The board was put together by the governor in 1976, and they're appointed members, and their main function is to help regulate the use of radiation within the state of Delaware.
Now, in your regular vocation, you're a vice president of cancer services at
Christiana Carey. I work at the Helen F. Graham Cancer Center. Have worked in basically in radiation since 1980, over 30 years, delivering radiation for the most part, and now I'm in management overseeing radiation workers.
Now, it seems to me that a lot of people probably take it for granted, this issue of radiation protection, believing that the protections are out there. Why is this something that people should be concerned about?
Again, not so much concern, but the goal is to educate people on radiation. We know from the science of radiation medicine, that radiation, when used correctly, is very beneficial. It's used to diagnose, it's used to treat cancer, used to diagnose. If you have a chest x-ray, if there's pneumonia there, we can give you adequate treatment. If there's a fracture, we can diagnose that. So when we talk about should they be concerned, it's more our goal is to have people partner with us in the use of radiation to make sure that it's applied correctly. And when I say that, we know that using radiation, again, is very beneficial, but there's a new concept in radiation medicine called ALARA. And it's and the goal is to use the lowest amount of radiation to achieve the achieved result. So we don't want, for instance, to have a child come in for a CAT scan and to use the settings on the machine to be those of an adult. So the goal is to assure that the radiation workers are educated and that controls are in place where the equipment is checked routinely to make sure that the lowest dose possible is being used.
Now, this was kind of like Radiation Protection Week or Radiation Awareness Week
here
in Delaware.
Yes.
And you use this, your board used this as a week to announce a new initiative. What was that all about?
And let me add, one of the things for this week was also Radiation Therapy Week, where we honor the radiation therapy workers within the state and in the country. Okay. So, I mean, they are a big part of our initiatives to provide safe radiation, whether it's in diagnostic or therapy. But the initiative was our effort to provide a new website where people in the community, mostly patients, can go on the website and get information to assist in them partnering with healthcare organizations in the management of their care. So on the website, there are some cues for patients to query their doctor. So if you go in and the doctor says, let's get a CAT scan. So there are some hints there and some guidelines for patients that they ask their doctor. Is there less costly maybe? Is there another mechanism or another test we can do instead of radiation to get the same results? So it's more of awareness for the patients of there are other options and to be a part of that healthcare scenario.
It sounds like it will allow patients to speak more intelligently with their doctors about their care.
It will. One of the websites actually has a tool where you can actually keep track of those x-rays. So if you use in 2 or 3 different physicians, you go to one physician, he says, let's get a CAT scan, and you can be a partner in that decision and say, I just had one, can you look at that one? So that's one of those. One of the other initiatives on the website is our tools for teachers and educators to be able to set programs, or there's tools they can use in their classrooms to provide classroom lessons on radiation. And I like that because it's an opportunity to expose people who weren't aware of radiation as a career field. There's a lot of opportunities as radiologists. Maybe you go in to be a physicist, which is a big part of radiation medicine. Maybe there's an awareness for a student to go in to be an x-ray technician. But it's one of those things, if you're not aware of it, then you don't get exposed to it, then there's not an opportunity missed. So.
Now, this board is made up, I assume, of people that are involved.
Yeah, the authority there's legislation that actually mandates the composition of the authority, and they're appointed members by the governor. There are public members from each county. There are members from each of the universities. So Delaware State University has a representative. Dr. Malechi is a representative. We have representatives from the University of Delaware. There's members from industry. And again, the role of the authority is to review the regulations. That's one of our roles, to make sure that the regulations are current. Because you can imagine radiation medicine has changed since 1895 to 2014. So one of our goals, one of our tasks is to make sure that the regulations are updated. If there's new standards that are out there, that we update those regulations so that we conform. And the majority of those regulations focus around radiation protection and radiation awareness. So to make sure that, that the X-ray machines are calibrated correctly. But the other thing that the authority does is we partner with the Office of Radiation Control. So they are the body within the Division of Public Health that actually goes out and does the inspections of the radiation facilities. That's dental office, that's veterinary office, that's hospitals who get examined on an annual basis. So the Office of Radiation Control is sort of the hands, as you would say, for the authority. So they go out and inspect each hospital, each clinic. They look at the radiation records. They actually test the equipment. They also check the radiation workers to make sure that they're registered. They are the body, the office actually issues registrations to radiation workers, to the X-ray technicians, to companies that come into the state that work on the equipment. So that registration and that monitoring is done through the Office of Radiation Control. So part of their annual inspections, again, they actually go into those clinics and make sure that everything is up to regulations, and again, that increases the safety of the public and the workers also, because part of that regulation protects not only the public but the workers.
Okay. Well, I think on the screen you see the website, and the website is www.deradiationprotection.org, and that's where they can find all this information.
Yeah,
correct?
that website has links to several websites that we approve, and they're actually websites that are built by a lot of the professional groups within radiation medicine. Okay. The groups of physicians, the group of physicists, they all have their websites. There's one on what we call Image Wisely, which encourages radiation users to, again, image wisely, use the least amount of radiation possible.
Okay. Well, Mr. Holden, thank you so much for joining me here on DSU Inside Perspective.
Thanks for having me, Carlos.
Visit that website and learn something about radiation protection. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you next time.